with no effect on the real variables. So a level increase in money supply increase the price level and nominal wage in proportion to the money supply's increase, but has no effect on any real macroeconomic variable. So the increase in money supply shift the money supply curve from the MS0 to MS1. Since money is neutral, the level of money supply doesn't matter for labor market and goods market. Thus, the equilibrium determination of employment, output, interest rate, and wages is unaffected. There is an effect only on prices. Price increase from P0 to P1. So next. For non-neutrality of money, changes in money supply will have impact on the real macroeconomic variables. Example is the non-neutrality of money in the new Keynesian model. Next. So an increase in money supply in the sticky wage model. So firstly, central bank increase money supply, which shift LM to the right from LM0 to LM1. AD curve shift to the right from AD0 to AD1. At new equilibrium, price increase from P0 to P1 and Y increase from Y0 to Y1. As price increase, real money supply decreases, which causes LM curve to shift left from LM1 to LM2. R decreases from R0 to R1. When R decreases, labor supply curve shift to the left from NSR0 to NSR1. Increase in price causes real wages to decrease, labor demand increases, and labor supply decreases. Hence, money is not neutral in new Keynesian model, as increase in money supply leads to an increase in real output and employment, while real interest rate and real wages fall. Next. So for 1B, use the real business cycle model to explain the impact temporary and permanent increase in the total factor productivity. An increase in Z means changes that brings the economy in producing more aggregate output using the same inputs. Factor that can increase total factor productivity are good weather, technological innovation, liberalized government innovations, and decrease in the relative price of energy. To look at Z shocks, we look at monetary intertemporal model. So for this production function, assume an increase of total factor productivity. The production will shift from Z1 to Z2. Marginal productivity of labor increases. Thus, demand for labor increases from N0 to N1. With an increase in Z, the firm will expect an increase of Y in the future and total factor productivity too. Temporary increase in TFP. Increase in Z causes PL to increase and labor demand increase, which ND curve shift to the right from ND0 to ND1. Y increases and shift to the right from Y0 to Y1. In goods market equilibrium, interest rate falls from R0 to R1 and Y increases from Y0 to Y1. Decrease in R result in an intertemporal substitution of labor between work and leisure. When R falls, high consumption and investment will occur, which causes labor supply curve to shift left from NSR0 to NSR1. In the current labor market, real wages and employment increase. In the current money market, as Y rises and R falls, money demand increases. MD shift right from MD0 to MD1, while money supply fixed and at MS. Price falls in order to achieve equilibrium in money market. A permanent increase in TFP. So increase in both Z and Z prime, current and future TFP will cause MPL to increase and labor demand increase. Labor demand curve shift right from ND0 to ND1, while output shift YS0 to YS1. Additionally, since for higher Z prime implies higher future income, thus lifetime wealth rises and demand for consumption increases. Output curve shift right from YD0 to YD1, R drops from R0 to R1, and Y increases from Y0 to Y1. Decrease in R causes labor supply to shift left from NS0 to NS1. Real wages and employment increase. As Y rises and R falls, money demand increases, and this shift right while price falls. So I'll pass to my teammates for question 2. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? So we're moving forward to the question 2. What are the three factors that determine current labor supply? The three factors that determine current labor supply are the current real wage, the real interest rate, and the lifetime wealth. Next. The model shows the representative consumer's current labor supply curve, which is the current labor supply curve sloped upward. And then the second is an increase in the real interest rate shift the current labor supply curve to the right. This is because the representative consumer consumes less leisure in the current period and more leisure in the future when the interest rate increase. Next. The effects of an increase in lifetime wealth. More leisure is consumed in the present due to an income effect, and the current labor supply curve shift to the left. Next. So next is what are the factors that shift output supply curve? Factors that shift output supply curve are first a shift in the current labor supply curve, which is increase in G, change in lifetime wealth. Second is the shift in the current labor demand curve, which is change in current total factor or current capital stock. And the third is a shift in the production function. Next. So the model show the increase in G. So increases lifetime tax burden will make the tax rises. So current leisure falls, level supply curve shift to the right, NS1 to NS2. Output supply curve shift to the right, which is YS1 to YS2. This the conclusion is that an increase in G shift the level supply curve and the output supply curve to the right. Next. Next is the increase in current total factor productivity shift the Y-S curve. An increase in current total factor productivity, Z, or in the current capital stock, K, causes the production function to shift up. So if Z increase from Z1 to Z2, the labor demand curve will shift to the right from ND1 to ND2. So output supply curve will shift to the right from YS1 to YS2. Next. The third is what are the factors that shift demand curve? Factors that shift output demand curve as a result of shift in the demand for current consumption goods, second shift in the demand for investment goods, and the change in the current quality of government purchases. Next, the model shows the demand for current goods shift up when current government purchase increase from G1 to G2. This will make the current good demand will increase from Y1 to Y2, and the output demand curve will shift to the right from YD1 to YD2. Next. Other important factors that will shift the YD curve to the right in a manner that identical to result for an increase in G is first the decrease in the present value of taxes. Second is the increase in future income. Third is an increase in future total factor productivity and a decrease in the current capital stock K. Next, so the question 3 is in the monetary intemporal model, suppose that money supply is fixed at all times. Determine the effects of temporary increase in the quantity of government on on current equilibrium output, on employment, the real wage, the real interest rate, and the price level. So explain the result. Next. The model shows the temporary increase in government purchases. So the next slide is the explanation. Next. The economy is in equilibrium with a current real wage, W1, with the current employment, N1, and the current output, Y1, and the real interest rate, R. Increase in G will make the output demand curve shift to the right. YD1 to YD2, present value of taxes, will make the leisure will decrease and level supply increase. So the level supply curve shift to the right from NS1 to NS2. Output supply curve shift to the right from YS1 to YS2. So this will make the Y increase from Y1 to Y2. For the real interest rate, temporary increase in government spending led to a small decrease in lifetime wealth for the consumer, which will produce a small effect on labor supply. Therefore, there should be only a small shift to the right in the YS curve, and this will make the real interest rate will rise. Next. For the price level, this show the money demand curve is a straight line and it shifts because of a change in real income and real interest rate. The rate decreases or Y increase will shift the MD curve to the right. Change Y in greater change in R. Changes in Y is greater than the changes in R. So the MD curve will shift rightward. This will make the price level drop. Next question.
So I will suppose that the money supply is fixed at all times, determine the effect of a decrease in the capital stocks brought about by a war or natural disaster on current equilibrium output, employment, the real wage, the real interest rate, and the price level. Explain your results. A decrease in the capital stocks brought about by a war or natural disaster uh, will lead to the Z decrease, which is total factor productivity decrease. When TFP decrease from Z0 to Z1, the production function will shift from Z0 to Z1, which will cause lower MPL. MPL decrease and the demand for labor decrease from no one with a the lower MPL caused the demand for labor decrease from the no to no one, which caused the labor demand function shift to the left in graph A. And because the output supply curve will shift to the left, YS1 to YS1, YS0 to YS1 in graph B. Exactly, the decrease of capital stock will increase the investment because the marginal capital output will increase in the future. So it will cause the output demand curve shift to the right. According to the new equilibrium point A in graph B, there are some effects. Number one is the real interest rate increase from the RO to R1. Number two, the real wage decrease from the W0 to W1 due to the real interest rate increase. The labor supply curve shift to the current total output is uncertain, depending on whether the output supply effect is greater or less. Oh, sorry. Or less than the output demand effect. In the money market, due to the decrease in Y and increase in R will cause the money demand curve shift to the left from PL0 to PL1. Suppose that the money supply is fixed at all time, so the money supply curve is fixed at the at money supply at this vertical line. So the M will not change at all. Due to the money supply is fixed, the price must change to keep money supply and the money demand to be equal. Price level increase to P. So in conclusion, in the monetary intertemporal model will cause the equilibrium output, employment, and real wage, and cause increasing in real interest rate and the price level. I will pass to my friend.
Good afternoon, guys. Move to question 5. Suppose the
I can't hear. Excuse me. I can't hear. I can't hear. Can you on? Can you speak into your microphone?
Can you hear me?
Very soft.
Hello.
Can you louder, louder?
Hello.
It's very, very faint. You are very far away.
崔妍
How about now?
Yes, I can hear. Yes, yes. Now it's okay. Continue.
Okay. Good afternoon, guys. Move to question 5. Suppose the temporary increase in government spending lead to a permanent increases in total factor productivity, perhaps because some government spending improve infrastructure and make private firms more productive. Show that temporary shocks of government spending of this type could lead to business cycles that are consistent with the key business cycle facts and explain your result. Next. Based on the question, suppose a temporary increase in government spending lead to a permanent increases in total factor productivity. TFP is increase means change that brings the economy in producing more aggregate output using the same inputs. So Z0 move to Z1. Next. Due to Z0 moves to Z1 in the production function, MPL decreases, demand of labor increases. That labor demand will shift to right. Because of the increase in TFP, there are also expectations for the increase in future output. There are two main effects for the increase in output. First, the demand for investment good increases because the firms anticipates an increase in future MPK. Second is the representative consumer anticipates that higher future TFP implies higher future income. Time wealth increases and the demand for consumption goods goes up. Both of these factors cause the output demand curve shift from output YD0 to YD1. In equilibrium in good market, aggregate output must rise, but the real interest rate R may rise or fall depending on whether the shift in output demand dominates the shift in output supply. In fact, the real interest will fall Due to positive and persistent productivity shock, current and future income will be higher. But because the shock is temporary, consumers are expecting their real income to fall. Therefore, R drops from RO to R1. In money market, because equilibrium real output rises and the real interest rate falls, money demand increases. Money demand curve shifts rightward. In equilibrium, price level falls from PO to P1. In the labor market, the labor supply curve shifts leftward from labor supply from RO to R from N sorry from RO to R1 because of the fall in real interest rate. So this model shows business cycles there that are consistent with the key business cycle facts. Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, thank you guys. All right, can you pull up your first slide again with all your names so I can know your names again?
Okay.
Then we can have some Q&A, okay? Okay, that's, so there are 4 of you in this group. It's pretty small group, eh? You have done a good job because I think it's not easy. Can I know, how did you do you had your lecture on Monday,
Yeah.
correct? Then how did you prepare, how did you do it? How did you prepare your slides, your PowerPoint slides?
We just separate each question, and member just select which one you want to prepare. So you mean?
Yeah.
You mean?
Yes. Stop there. Stop. Yeah. Stop on the money market because I want you all to ask. I want to ask a question on. Okay. This is good. Just stop there. Oh no. Just now. TFP. The definition of TFP. Just oh no, not this one. Yeah, this one. So I can start questioning you guys. All right, you're ready? Now, the use of real RBC explain impact temporary permanent increase in total factor productivity. Now, that means Z and TFP, Z, that means Z is a function, all right, of total factor productivity. So my question is total factor productivity the same as productivity shock? Because I can hear you guys saying productivity shock and then after that total factor productivity. So which is which? Hello?
Total factor productivity is different from productivity shocks.
Correct. Yes. Continue. I want to learn more.
Because productivity shocks is the causes of total factor productivity.
Okay.
And then I'm not so sure.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Okay. Try any other answer. I can't say that you're wrong. Because I can't. You can't write on the board. But your answer is yes. I do agree.
Right.
Any other answer? Because when in macroeconomics, we are supposed to be specialists. We are economists. So when we are throwing terms as if it's like, is it rain? Is it drizzle? Is it a splash? Is it a droplet? So we have to be very specific. Any more? You want to share? Now my question, the current pandemic crisis we're having, Can you see as it as one of the factors here that will decrease your total factor productivity? Hi, are you there?
Doctor, can you repeat the question again?
Coronavirus is good. Whether you have technological innovation, you have government innovation, you have decrease in price energy. How about a coronavirus? Hey guys, we all have viruses around us now.
Coronavirus is maybe like the great disaster will cause the capital stock decrease.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, I just share with you. That means productivity shock is not the same as activity. You have to be very clear. What is a shock? The totality shock can be permanent. A positive shock will push up and it will stay up there. But a coronavirus shock, it will be temporary. It will push the production function downward. But it can go upward, backward, if there is any intervention by government. That is the real business cycle model about. Do you understand now that Z is actually a function? So the TFP is not a productivity shock. That function, if you were to model that function of Z, the residual of the Z is the shock. All right, guys? So good weather, technological innovation, these are factors that can create shock for productivity, for the total factor productivity. Okay, clear?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, excellent. Now my next question, go down to the money market. Just pull out the graph. You have to be very crystal clear because we are dealing with real business cycle now. And the guy who is, Edward Prescott, these are founders, these are Nobel laureates who invented all these tools for us, which we cannot use today. So the money market will actually tell us a great story about what is happening in the real world. Not this one. Real money, the money market, where you have the price as your, and then at the end, I think of question 3. The last slide, question 3.
And this one?
Yeah, can you go down to the slide on money market?
Wait.
Yes, that's the one, guys. Okay, now guys, you have your price on your y-axis and a money stock. One of the biggest assumption in RBC is that money stock is fixed. Yo-hoo, guys, we are living in the real world. Look at the crisis. We are using quantitative easing. It's not the normal kind of expansionary monetary policy we are looking at. Because these governments now are buying junkies, they're buying all kinds of bonds out in the market, flushing the market with lots of currencies. Okay, I'm not saying currency, I'm talking about money, which is the US dollar. And they are just helicopter money. That means they keep printing and printing and printing. The balance sheet of Fed Reserve have increased to 6.9 trillion, guys. That is an awesome lot because in the global financial crisis of 2008, they only pump in 700 billion first stimulus. Second stimulus, about 900 billion. They're talking about 1 trillion. But now it's 2-3 trillion and they're increasing like mad. So at the end of the day, after our crisis, guys, we are going to have stagflation. We are not going to produce as much. You're going to go back to the factory. You don't have rows and rows of people sitting down close by and doing all the, the mechanical processes day in, day out, putting in the screws and all those stuff. You have to create shifts, and that will reduce the kind of productivity that we are seeing, pre-crisis days, pre-pandemic. So look at this graph. Now you tell me that our real interest rate decrease will shift the money demand curve to the right. Okay? The thing is that, guys, when you decrease your real money to the right, you keep decreasing, because now all interest rate in the world is decreasing. You keep decreasing the real interest rate, and it will continue. Don't you think that money demand curve will actually flatten out? What do you think, guys? Just throw any silly question, answer. Don't worry, I'm not going to grade you wrong or right. I want to hear your voices.
Is it possible the MT curve will go flat?
Yes, you're right. So what will happen to the price level? Now, in this particular graph, you said that if, the graph, if it keeps coming down, the price will come down. That means when the real interest rate decrease, you get increase in productivity, so the price level will come down. And is that our real interest rate, what is the definition of real interest rate? Real interest rate is your nominal interest rate minus inflation rate. Our current nominal interest rate is about 2%. Now, the next meeting round, Bank Negara will decrease. Minus your inflation rate, let's say it's 1.9. Okay, let's say it's close to 2. So practically our real interest rate today is 0. But the entire global real interest rate now is negative. Singapore is a negative real interest rate. That's a 0 nominal rate. You put your money in the bank. It's like you're paying the bank to keep my money there. So Malaysians are still going down to Singapore, exchanging their money and keeping it in the Singapore dollar because we don't trust our ringgit. Correct? Because they say Singapore dollar is so strong. Last time was 1-to-1 parity. Then it went up to 2. Now it's 3. Now to go down to Singapore, it's more expensive than going down to Australia, because Australia in exchange rate is about 2.6. Now Singapore is about 3.05. It went up to 3.3. So it came down. So it's 3 times more expensive in Singapore. But in Australia, it's about 2.5. Isn't that ridiculous? Why are we helping the Singaporean economy to sustain the value of the Singapore dollar? Why don't you love our own currency? I'm asking you that question. Hey guys, you're all economic students. Please reply my question. I don't want to keep talking and talking. 1 more minute. Can you do something? Can you say something?
Doctor, maybe it's because of confidence in our country, confidence in our currency.
That's correct. Yes. We don't trust our government. What our government is dishing out, they are not talking about real economics. The thing is that those that are policymakers, they are trying to do the correct thing. But when the government, another head comes in, Bank Negara is not able to convey the things they want to do. But then, why is our ringgit keep depreciating? We have never appreciated. We were like one US dollar, we were paying we're paying 2 ringgit. Now we're paying like four times. It's really, really shocking. And if we're going to have a global stagflation, mind you guys, there'll be no jobs, no growth, but price keep increasing. So I'm coming back to this graph here. In a situation where you have real negative interest rates, output not growing. Why? It's relatively constant. So there's no productivity, total factor productivity increase. Government doesn't check on your CPI. If it keep increasing, you know, you will have not a positively slanting money demand, but you have a negatively inverted money demand curve. And that is like, it's bizarre. All right, guys, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are living now in abnormal times. You're here, you're listen to the TV. Ini adalah keadaan normal baru. For me, it's not normal baru. For me, it's abnormal new now we're going to live in. If it's abnormal new, everything will be haywire, everything will be inverse, everything will be inverted. So, if one day you guys will become the new leaders of Malaysia, please apply our tools. Think about what you learn in classrooms about macroeconomics, because even RBC doesn't apply in today's situation. But we can tweak it. We can release the assumptions, because the money supply is not fixed. The money supply curve keep increasing to the right, and we're going to get liquidity trap. And in that situation, if the Bank Negara keep printing money, we have to let go of the US dollar as our reserve money. Okay, this is a big issue because we're talking about the global hegemony, the new architecture, the new global financial system architecture. And those who are going to work in Bank Negara, you will be sent, you may not travel, but we are going all as a global village. We have to cast out the new global financial system. Oh, it's already 4. I will have to now leave you guys. We don't have a recording, sorry, but I need your slides. Can you email to me, ktquack@um.edu.my?
Okay, can.
Okay, thank you guys. Oh, can you 4 other groups, can you also email back, because so that today I will just download. That means to A, to B, to C, to D. So guys, are you all there? To A to E.
Doctor, you mean our slides?
Yes, the slides for the past tutorials.
Understand.
You know why? Because next week we're going to do another set of 5 tutorials, and we're going to start from group A, B, C, D, E. Correct?
Okay.
Okay. So then the tabulation of your work, Dr. Santa will compile everything for you guys, because the finals, you all got your final date for your final exams. That one is handled by Dr. Santa. And before I break up you guys, I want to wish you Selamat Hari Raya for all those who are celebrating Raya. Unfortunately, most of us are still locked in lockdown, and you can't go back balik kampung. But do have good cheers and stay safe. All right, don't go anywhere. Meet where you want to meet virtually. Okay, so we'll see you next week. Any question?
No question.
So far, no,
Okay.
doctor. Thank you very much for the wish.
Thank you, doctor.
So,
Eh,
bye.
bye lagi semua.